Hi, this is James, and I'd like to welcome you to the Oracle Outlook for the week starting December the 19th, 2016. This week I'm going to be doing a tarot card reading, and the deck that's going to be assisting me for this week's reading is the Archangel Power Tarot Cards. They are by Doreen Virtue, Radleigh Valentine. The artwork is by Jeff Bedrick, and the deck is published by Hay House. The reason for the deck selection is that this is the week where we have Christmas coming on the weekend, and for the deck selection process, I always kind of leave it up to Spirit to kind of guide me as to what deck to use for the particular reading. And I kept hearing in my head the Christmas hymn, Hark the Herald Angels Sing. So that was the reason, that was one of the reasons anyway for the Archangel Power Tarot Cards. The second reason is because of this week being the week that the holiday falls on, is that for some of us, the holidays can be a wonderful time, and for some of us, they can be a challenging time. And so this deck, the theme of it, according to Doreen Virtue and Radleigh Valentine, the deck creators, is that it's all about self-empowerment. So for those of us who may be looking at the holiday from a lens of potential challenge, then hopefully the messages that come through the cards this week can be empowering for you. So that is the reason for the deck selection. So now we can move into the reading. I have the deck on the floor next to me, and as those of you who watch my videos regularly know, that I'm starting to do a number of readings on the floor because this is my favorite place to do it when I'm reading for myself or I'm doing email readings. So I'm shuffling the cards, and I'm asking Spirit and the angels what information, what guidance, what insight would help us move through the experiences we could face in the upcoming week. Now I'm going to shuffle my other way, because I like a good shuffle. And I always wait for the feeling that I usually get when I'm calling upon the angels. And I'm starting to feel that now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the deck. And then this is why I like to be on the floor, because I get to fan the cards out. So I'm going to fan the cards out. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick 3 cards, and reaching for the first card. The first card is going to inform us either the theme or the energy of the week ahead, or something that may be a direct experience at the beginning of the week. And scanning the fan again, the next card will be either guidance or advice that can help us with the first card in terms of the experience or the energy. And then it could also be something that we're going to experience in the middle of the week. And then scan the fan for one more card. The third card will be something that we need to know for the end of the week, or a potential outcome if we go with the idea that the second card is actually guidance or advice, and if we choose to follow that course of guidance. So those are the 3 cards, and so I'm going to pick up the remainder and put them to one side. So now I have the 3 cards in front of me face down, so I'm going to go with the first card. So for the beginning of the week, we have, and this is very interesting in light of what I said. So the card is 5 of Ariel. And so immediately the first thing that comes to me is, in light of what I said about the idea about the holidays potentially being a challenging time. The 5 of Ariel can come up when we are focused on money, and in terms of that concern, we're looking at it from the lens of being worried or anxious, because this is about being worried or anxious about money. At least for me, that's how I interpret this card. The other thing, and this is about the whole idea about the holidays in particular in terms of a challenge. For some people, they may be challenged with the idea of a sense of like being alone or being on their own, because this card sometimes can carry with it, when we're talking about relationships, it can be like I'm on the outside looking in, that kind of experience, or we are feeling a sense of isolation or rejection. We're feeling like we're out in the cold, so to speak, because I'm looking at Archangel Ariel, who is the angel on the card. She is outside and it's winter outside. So for me, I always look at it as a pun on, being out in the cold, or, you're being frozen out by other people, or you're being given the cold shoulder, that kind of thing. Or that, the idea like when you walk into a room and you kind of get a sense like all of a sudden like it gets cold, like the temperature drops down because of the people in the room are kind of, there's like an issue going on with the people who are in the room, and so you can kind of say like all of a sudden it feels like, oh, it got really cold, or it's frozen in here, that kind of thing. So I'm getting that sense of energy with this. So the 5 is a number of change. So in angel numerology is all about change. So this could be a week starting out where we're being asked to maybe change the way we're looking at it, because the ways that I describe this card could be looking at things from a sense of lack. And another one of these meanings for this card for me is deprivation. So it could be like we're looking at things from lack, and the angels are encouraging us to kind of maybe take a shift in our focus and look at it from the lens of like, what do we have? Because Archangel Ariel is one of the angels of abundance. And so, this is an idea, or, being offered guidance about looking at things from a place of being prosperous. So instead of looking at what you may be lacking, look at it from a standpoint of what you have, because there's an idea like what you focus your attention on, this is law of attraction, what you focus your attention on grows. And so if you're focusing on lack, then you create more lack. And if you focus on what you have, then you increase that experience of having more, because you're grateful and you're acknowledging what it is that you have. So I'm seeing that. I'll read the text. The text says, you needn't go through your current challenges alone. Help is nearby. Negative thoughts create self-fulfilling prophecies. So that is 5 of Ariel at the beginning of the week. So now moving to the next card. We have, interesting, we have the 3 of Raphael. So the first thing that I noticed with the 2 cards is they're very stark in contrast, where the 5 of Ariel was a card that was talking about the idea of being on the outside, being the misfit, feeling like you don't belong, feeling like there's no place for you. The 3 of Raphael is the total opposite. It usually represents good times, it represents celebrations, it represents being with like-minded people. So going with that, if we go with the idea like this is the theme or the experience of 5 of Ariel, and we're feeling a sense of isolation, we're feeling a sense we don't belong, it could be like maybe considering like, are we with people who are of like mind? And if not, then the 3 of Raphael's possible advice could be finding a group of people where you fit. Finding a group of people who either share the same interest, a similar hobby, people who are like minds, like I said, because this card is about good times, celebrations, it's about groups. It could be hobby groups, clubs, support groups. It could also be too, like if you're feeling alone, or you're feeling like you have limited resources, going back to the 5 of Ariel, then 3 of Raphael is about like, is there a group, is there a community that you could find that could be of help to you? Because I'm being reminded that the text on the card for 5 of Ariel said help is nearby. Then the 3 of Raphael could be like, how can you find the people who could help you? Because help is nearby. But sometimes too, people might not know your needs if you're not communicating that to other people. I'm seeing this because the 3 of Raphael for me can also be about networking. So it could be like, and networking is all about just letting people know what you need, whether it's in a business sense or in a personal sense. But we kind of connect with other people based on like, well, I can provide this for this person because this person needs that, and then this person can provide this for me because I need that. And we kind of create a kind of synergistic relationship, if you will, based on meeting each other's needs. So going with this, it could be, maybe I'm going to flip it now. Maybe it could be like you're in a place to help people, but maybe you don't know where you can do the most amount of good. And so then this card would be about like networking, getting connected with other people, to kind of help facilitate that, or kind of maybe get yourself placed where you can help and assist other people. So it could be twofold. It could be like, one, you could be needing help and finding the people who could support you in that. And the idea here with that is like about, you know, the expression about friends who know friends. Like, you know, you get to a social function. That's another aspect of this card. You get to a social function and you talk about what it is that you're going through, and then somebody says, "Oh, I know somebody who does this," or I know a friend who knows a friend," kind of thing. So usually, if you're going to make connections, it's usually around that kind of experience. So, but like I was saying, so it could be like you coming into a situation where you are going to be on the receiving end of getting help, or that you are going into a situation with help that you have to give, but maybe not knowing where your help is needed. So I'm seeing that as a possibility. And so the last thing I'll say with the Three of Raphael is that this is a card that can come up when we're being invited to things. And so it's very interesting that we are moving into the week where Christmas is going to be on the weekend. So this is about like paying attention to the invitations you get to social events this week, and then asking yourself the question, am I going to feel like an outsider, or am I going to feel like I belong? And am I going to feel like I'm going to fit? Am I feeling like I'm going to have a good time? So keep that in mind when you're kind of maybe weighing your options about where to go and who to be with, because I'm seeing that with Three of Raphael. So that is for the middle of the week. Now, rounding out the line, week's end, this is very nice. So we, at the end of the week, or at the end of the line, we have the Six of Gabriel. So the Six of Gabriel is all about achieving a victory. This card is about a triumph, a victory, a success. This card is about rewarding work. So if you are in the space where you are actively working on being in a place where you can be of help, this is a very nice card to have at the end of the week, because it says that you are going to find the work that's going to be rewarding. And sometimes this card can be about recognition. So it could be twofold. Number one, there may be a sense of being acknowledged and recognized for your efforts by week's end. You know, if you're maybe organizing a party or an event, going back to the Three of Raphael, maybe after the party is over, or maybe even during the party, people, take a moment to acknowledge you for getting people together, for organizing it, that kind of thing. Whatever work and energy you put into it, this card could suggest being acknowledged for that. The other thing with this is that in terms of recognition, it could be that you are recognizing that you are in a good space in terms of the work that you are doing. Because again, this is about like a triumph, victory, success. So you may recognize that you're in the right space, you're doing the right kind of work, that kind of energy. So I'm looking at this. This card can also be about like be mindful of commutes, because this card for me can represent travel. I'm looking at the card and there is a man who's riding on a horse, so that could actually be literal travel. Or it could be just taking a moment to acknowledge the progression that you've made in terms of an area. Maybe you've gone from this mindset of being alone or being on the outside looking in. Then you found a group of people where you fit and you belong, and you recognize that that was a breakthrough. You had a breakthrough moment, because this card can be about achieving a breakthrough. So you've done your work, you've switched things, you've moved things around, and you now are the angels are now acknowledging that you've made a breakthrough in your process and your progress. So I'm seeing that. I'm going to read the text. The text says, "Congratulations, you've done a wonderful job. Time to move on to the next project. Awards, scholarships, or promotions." And so I was going to mention this with the Three of Raphael, so this is a nice place for me to say this here. So sometimes, because I tend to read from a business and career standpoint, because that has been one of the biggest concerns in my own personal life, so I tend to look at things from that lens. If you are of the career or even self-employed mindset, then Five of Ariel is a card that can represent a self-employment venture, and maybe there's a chance of needing to re-examine that, focusing on your resources. Do you have the time? Do you have the talent? Do you have the the money to put into that self-employment venture at the time, because one of the challenges with Five of Ariel, this is a card where it could suggest that self-employment could be a challenge. And it could just be a challenge maybe because of the week that we're falling in. You know, you may see less business depending on either your product or your service, whatever it is you're putting out to the world, because it's a holiday week. So it could be mindful of that, because sometimes this card is about like, you know, self-employment ventures that are kind of slowing down. So just be mindful of that. It could also be in a space where, again, you may be looking for work or looking to make a change with that. So then, Three of Raphael, in this particular case, again, would be you're being advised to network and get out there. And the more people who know about what it is that you're trying to do, whether it's you're looking for work or you're doing something on your own, it's about, you know, letting people be aware of what it is you're doing. Here's the other thing now. If you're self-employed, you may be like me, and you may be, you know, a card reader or, you know, some type of intuitive or psychic professional. Then the Three of Raphael, in this particular case, I have come to see it as a card that represents going public with your intuitive or psychic ability, your psychic work. Again, if you're a card reader in particular like I am, then it could be like, again, going public with that and then starting to do readings for the public. Now, going back to the Five of Ariel, the challenge could be that you are concerned about how you're going to look. You may be concerned about being ostracized, because remember I said this is about being on the outside, looking in, you know, that sense of rejection. So it could be like, take that into consideration. If you're wanting to do that, keep in mind, who are you going to be sharing this kind of work with? You want to be sharing it with people who resonate with that, who have an open mind to that, who are going to receive that. You know, so if you're talking to people who are going to shut it down, keep in mind that they may not be your audience. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the Six of Gabriel in this particular case is all about the possibility of public speaking attached to your work. So yes, you have a triumph, you have a victory, you have a success. So two things. Number one, you could be asked to travel for your work, and then also about giving talks with your work. And that would make perfect sense, because Archangel Gabriel is the angel that's attached to this card, and Archangel Gabriel is the messenger angel. So it's all about communication. What's your message? Who is your message for? And how can you get it out there more? So on that note, I will wrap up this week's reading. So this has been the Oracle Outlook for the week. I am Jameson Mitchell, and as I sign off, I want to thank you for sharing this space here with me this week. And I look forward to sharing the same space with you again in our next video. So until then, I'm wishing you a wonderful day. I'm hoping you have a tarot-tastic week filled with many angel blessings. Take care.